I think crypto's got a great future. I think it really does. Maybe we'll pay off the $35 trillion in crypto. I'll write out a little piece of paper, 35 trillion crypto. We have no debt.
It did not get a lot of attention at the time, but in the lead up to the election, Donald Trump really did say that he wants to pay down the national debt using cryptocurrency. And now that he's been elected, Trump's wild crypto fantasies may very well become reality. As Charlie Warzel writes for The Atlantic, there is speculation that Trump could make good on a proposal to create a strategic reserve of bitcoins in the U.S., which could involve the federal government buying 200,000 bitcoins a year over the next 5 years, perhaps by using the country's gold reserves. For large crypto holders, this would be an incredible scheme, a wealth transfer from the government to crypto whales. That seems like a pretty crazy thing to do, not least because cryptocurrency claims to be all about creating money that does not rely on the U.S. government. But it makes sense when you understand cryptocurrency not as a new technology or the symbol of some online libertarian movement, but as an industry rife with speculators looking to cash in on Donald Trump's second term. As Warzel writes, whether Trump understands crypto beyond the basic notion that it's a good way to win votes and get rich off the backs of his most fanatical supporters is not clear. But the alliance between Trump and the crypto constituency makes sense philosophically. Trump is corrupt and he loves money. Joining me now is the author of that piece, Charlie Warzel, who is a staff writer at The Atlantic. Charlie, I'm such a fan of your writing, and this piece in particular was very helpful for me, and I'm sure many other people who read it, to understand the handshake between MAGA and crypto. Can you elaborate more on the sort of anti-institutional bent that unites these two subgroups of people and why there's so much kinship in these two worlds?
Yeah, there's a lot of synergy here, and a lot of it is probably cynical, right? As I wrote in the piece, there is, crypto kind of seems like a technology that was in some ways built for the way Donald Trump likes to conduct business, right? Which is like off the books and sort of nakedly financial. Like greed is good in the crypto ecosystem, right? That's a very Trumpian thing. But perhaps more important, I think, is the ethos of cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, and this idea of blockchain, the technology it's built off of, which, it is an anti-institutional technology. That's the way that it was created to take the middleman out, to take away the banks and the central bankers and the government and the oversight and the regulation and all those institutional guardrails that, they help protect people, but they also leave people out of the financial system. People who are into crypto are really into that anti-institutional authority. And it makes a lot of sense. We are in an extremely low trust moment. The MAGA world is full of people who are incredibly skeptical and distrustful and resentful of elites, and they like the idea of this. So this culture has a real, overlap with the MAGA, the Trump ethos.
Yeah, nothing says anti-institutional like the U.S. president creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve built on gold. What? Can we talk about the irony of maybe using federal gold reserves to buy a strategic Bitcoin reserve? I mean, the whole point of crypto is that it's outside the government. Do you see any issue with the creation of this? Do we need to worry about a crypto cash? Also, will the public care? I mean, this is undermining the very point of crypto.
It's undermining the point. It's hypocritical, but it's also very alarming, I think. Who's to say whether Donald Trump's going to make good on any of this, or whether this is like lip service to a constituency that, put a lot of money behind him and put a lot of faith in him. I think what's really alarming about this is the fact that this would be a wealth transfer from the federal government to the people who currently hold a lot of Bitcoin. The government would be buying Bitcoin from these people. And every year, it would buy about 200,000 Bitcoins. Every year it did that, that purchase would drive the price of Bitcoin up, further enriching those people who have crypto, and then making it so that the next year, when the government was buying those reserves, it would cost the government more money. They would be getting a worse price. And then, aside of the corruption element of that, you also have this idea of the government having this strategic reserve of the most volatile currency that has really existed that's not like tulips, right? It's a very alarming thing for our global financial system and our government to be enmeshed with this technology that's like best suited for doing crime.
Well, and as you point out, the narrative of that, taking crypto bros and making them richer year over year is not something that the quote unquote populist working class, agenda of MAGA would tolerate, right? I mean, in theory, it's such an obvious transfer of wealth, like many other Trump policies, to the richest again and again and again. One would think there would be political fallout from that.
When I put this, all of this stuff, the whole, the Trump policies, the notion that, crypto has enriched a certain set of people who've become really important political donors to this researcher, Molly White, who studies cryptocurrencies and, the volatile effects. What she said to me was very striking, which essentially is there is this anti-institutional authority adopted by these folks. But then once they get the power or the influence, they basically lose that and say, well, we're not anti-institutionalists. It's just we want to be the institutions. We want to be the authority. And that's, I think, what we're trying to see here with, if these Trump proposals go through, if we start to see, the posh regulations for crypto that help it thrive, I think what's going to happen is it's just going to be a new set of authority, and it's going to be the people who are rich from this speculative asset.
I mean, Charlie, it's a great piece. I'm a big fan of your writing, like I said at the top of this segment. Everybody should go read it. It's important perspective bringing for the coming months and years. Thank you for your time in this busy holiday season. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.